Hello, I'm host Eric, talking with famous people, and I just watched host Tim and host Ken's video on feelings and basically giving advice on problems. There was an example problem from work in the mix. And the reason I mention all this is because it got me thinking about media aesthetics, what works in videos, what doesn't work in videos, and what makes a good video in general. So that video is pretty good, and it's got 2 likes, 3 now that I liked it, out of 60 some views. So what I've determined is that the best videos, the ones that people genuinely like the most of mine, will start in their first 60 or so views with about 10% like. That's the most well liked you're going to get for me. And I can tell which videos are effective and which videos are not, in large part based on likes. I know that a certain percentage of those likes are not necessarily specific to the media. So that some people have a tendency to just like things without even watching them necessarily, or may like it out of pity, or any number of other things like that. But I have a lot of data, so I kind of understand now the correlations and how they work out. I also realize that sometimes uh, a given video will have a lower like to quality ratio than you might think it deserves. And sometimes that's a genuine disagreement in taste. Sometimes it's sort of coincidental shit. Like, that's just kind of how it went. That data is basically sort of unreliable and sort of reliable. Regardless, what makes a video effective and get a lot of likes for me are a couple of different factors. Number one, it's got to be on topic and fairly concise. I can't have a lot of redundancy, and I need to have good economy of language. And number two, it has to have a central thesis and make a point and stay on topic. It can tolerate a certain amount of rambling or a certain amount of tangential stuff, but I've got to come back to the central thesis by the end of the video, or it loses a certain amount of the impact that ideally it would have. Number three, in the most effective videos, I emote a certain amount. And I've of late been thinking a lot about this sincerity thing, and that I'm getting feedback suggesting that I might be able to fake sincerity well, at least for the purposes of video making. And so I've been sort of wrestling around with that idea in general because it's not something I've done historically, although I guess I've been aware that I'm capable of doing it. I can honestly say I don't use fake sincerity as a means of accomplishing things. Maybe I should start. Is kind of the point. Uh, I'm provided it's within certain ethical limits and stuff like that. I mean, I don't want to. There's nothing wrong with acting, right? It's not something that I'm used to doing necessarily, but there's nothing wrong with it. So, to the extent that I can provide more emotion in this, then it's going to be more successful. But this is a particularly dry topic. I don't think I'm going to get particularly emotional about it. To the extent that I were going to, I start saying things like, it makes me really excited to see people making media. And it does. And it makes me really happy to see host Ken and host Tim making a video and being aware of its titling and being aware of shit that I'm not always very good about, and also keeping the length at a certain amount. That is the length that people want to see videos on YouTube. Everybody keeps telling me, there's a certain 8 to 15 minute range where people like their videos at, and I tend to agree with that. That's kind of where I want my videos when I do watch them at as well. And that's going to bring me to the final piece of this video, which is the fourth component of aesthetics I want to talk about, which is pacing. I've been told by many, many people that I go very fast. I've been told by some people that they watch my video more than once if it's a video where I'm covering a lot of information. It feels like any slower than this would be too slow to me. That I want, as a consumer, for the media to constantly be moving forward and giving me new information, or I'm going to get bored with it or impatient with it. So I tend to go at that pace that I wanted at as a consumer. And I've had Taylor tell me before as well that if I went slower, I'd lose him. And I understand that because I'm the same way. So I've always been, as a teacher, one who wants to teach at the top of the class. And as a speaker, I assume my audience can keep up. This is not particularly complicated information, so I don't think there's going to be any problem with a video like this. And I don't think it's a problem in general. I just think that on some of the more complicated issues, the more metaphysical stuff, if I'm going super fast and using a lot of big words, it may not be conducive to people understanding what I'm talking about. At any rate, pacing is a bit of an issue, I think, for host Ken, in my opinion. He goes a little slow. you know, he's comfortable with big pauses. I offer this critique not as an indication of failure, but as an indication of success, which is to say he's exploring his various pacing options. I probably need to slow down in certain spots. I probably need to pause more. Did that help? Regardless, thanks for making that video, guys. I enjoyed watching it, and it makes me want to make better videos, seeing that you guys are putting effort into making good videos as well. And makes me want to be less lazy. So, thanks everyone for watching Talking with Famous People, and those are my thoughts on video making aesthetics and host Ken and host Tim's recent video. And now I have to find the thing I'm looking for. There we go.